You never know what can happen on any given day out here.
It's going to be tough. I'm going to have to rip through the crowd. It's going to get gnarly and really hairy and nasty.
We can run for the championship. That's our plan. We're going for the championship. Go for it all.
Well, I think anytime you win the National Drivers' Championship, it's you definitely have some sort of target on your back.
There is no layback strategy tomorrow. We are going for broke. We have nothing to lose. I mean, there's other tough guys out there. We have nothing to lose. We're going to go for it. We want to win.
Some of the most competitive racing in the country goes down right here, and you can say you're the king of it right now.
That's what we come for. We come to win, and we don't care about money or points or anything else. We care about trophies.
Tonight at Anderson Speedway, the world's fastest high bank quarter-mile oval. It's one of the crown jewel events for the ARCA CRA Super Series. It's the Redbud 300. 26 drivers, 300 laps on the very fast bull ring here in central Indiana. Now it's going to be two 150-lap segments. Yellow coming out halfway. You can change tires. You can add fuel. It's going to throw some strategy in, but nonetheless, we're going to see a great race here at Anderson.
Thanks, Rob. The grid is crowded for the start of the Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300. It's presented by Hoosier Park, by Great Deals Savings Magazine, the Ed Martin Auto Group, and Mitch Smith Auto Service. Now, we're getting ready to introduce you to the entire starting lineup for the field, but as we do, let's also give you some history on the CRA Series.
With series owner R.J. Scott, and R.J. Back in 1997, this thing got started. How did it get started? And it's been a pretty good ride to this point.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. This actually goes back to well before '97 when I worked with Rick Dawson. He said he wanted to own a racetrack one day, and I said, what kind of racetrack would you like to own? And he goes, well, I'd like to buy Anderson Speedway. I said, you mean one like Anderson Speedway, right? And he said, no, I'd like to buy Anderson Speedway. And I said, Rick, you can't buy Anderson Speedway. Well, that was the wrong thing to say, because you can't tell Rick Dawson he can't do anything. So we ended up buying Anderson Speedway, and from that started trying to put all the late model at different racetracks together. Now it has become a full-blown series, and this company and multiple series, and we've been very fortunate to be a part of a lot of great things through the years and help bring a lot of great traditions back in racing.
Well, what Rick Dawson and his crew have done here at Anderson Speedway is absolutely phenomenal. You have 10,000 seats in 360-degree universal seating all the way around the speedway. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful place to see a race. I've been here many, many times before and have a lot of laps at this place as a competitor, and it's really high on everybody's list so far as tracks go. We're looking at rows 11 and 12 right now. Alone in row 13, it's Damon Eekhoff and Rex Norris Jr., and that wraps up our field for the start of the Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300. The pace car is off the racetrack, and Rick Turner in the bright yellow number 26 will lead him to the green. You see Rick wash up between 1 and 2 if your car gets pushy here at Anderson Speedway. That's what it'll do. A few drivers will try to set their car up for the high line, but basically the low line is the preferred line here at Anderson Speedway. Rick Turner says winning here is all about patience.
This is such a tight little bull ring, and we are going so fast that is patience. I mean, absolute patience. And I hope that I'm older now. I hope I'm a little bit more patient than what I used to be when I was younger. We've ran good here in the past. We just kind of have to wait and see, what happens. So, just patience.
Well, the big challenge that Rick is facing right now is from the 51 of Stephen Nassy, who's working awful hard to make that high line work, but that's tough. He's going to dive down to the inside and try to squeeze it in, and there's just no room for that car to fit. He's going to take Rick Turner out. Turner goes sideways. Stephen Nassy also is going to put himself at the back of this pack as well. And now we've got a big pile up with, I think that's the 8 car. That's Tommy Cook. He's hit the wall very, very hard. The 11 of Josh Nelms is involved in that accident, as well as the 63 of Rex Norris Jr. And that is really going to slow things down. That is going to bring out a full course yellow, big problems up front, and that's going to shake up the entire field. Now at Anderson Speedway, don't forget you're dealing with 17-degree banking, and if your car goes tight, Rob Klepper's here to tell you how to loosen it back up.
Well, one of the reasons they call this place the world's fastest quarter-mile oval is the banking in the corners. 17 degrees, which creates a lot of speed. But if your car's a little bit tight, wants to push to that outside wall, you have a few options. Right down here, put that left rear tire, will upset the chassis, make that car loosen up through the corners. The problem, though, if you're too loose, you'll loop it out pretty quick here at Anderson.
But Rob, that is a nice Band-Aid. Just put those left side tires down off the banking for a split second, and that can loosen your car up if you're having problems. The 11 car right there of Josh Nelms has more than just problems. He's going to be hauled to the infield and be out of this race. And we're going to come back with more from the Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300 at Anderson Speedway right after this.
I can sell cars anywhere, but I choose to sell cars here because they like me, believe me, and trust me. It's cut and dry. Take care of the customer, and they'll take care of you. I've left dealerships because of pushy salespeople, so I try and do the exact opposite. When people think of Stoops, they think of quality, integrity. I wear my Stoops logo proud.
This is Titan 1-4. No signs of life.
Titan 1-4, hold your position.
What do you got?
Unmanned aircraft is identifying enemy sniper.
Copy that. Let's move. Thanks, Reaper 1-1. We got it from here. Sensors coming off target.
Learn more at airforce.com.
The Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300 is presented by Hoosier Park and by the Ed Martin Auto Group. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway, just north of Indianapolis, Indiana, as we are well underway in the Redbud 300, a race with a ton of history. Up front, Terry Fisher Jr. in the black 81 has inherited the lead. The 51 of Becky Caston starting second. The restart has Ross Kenseth in the 25 on the inside as they go into turn number 3, looking for the green flag once again in what has become a tremendous race with a great deal of history and a huge legacy behind it.
Well, you know, it's been an annual event from back in 1967 when ARCA, most people think it's ASA, but when ARCA first had it from 67, 68, then the local sanctioning body, ASA, from Pendleton, Indiana, took over the sanctioning of it in 69, and it was run pretty much straight through. Started as 500, ASA reduced it to 300. It's been 400 laps throughout. And then 4 years ago, well, when ASA went out of business, the race kind of was dropped, and 4 years ago we picked up the race here in 2009, and we hope to continue the legacy.
Well, they're continuing it in fine form. Terry Fisher running out front right now and doing so pretty comfortably because I think Becky Caston in the 51 car is holding up third place just a little bit. And now we see the number 2 of Kenny Tweedy coming and getting into the action in front as well. And now let's go on board with our pole sitter, Rick Turner. Remember Rick in the yellow 26? He's already lost his hood, been beaten back and forth a couple of times, and he's trying to work his way back through traffic, and he gets caught up with Nick Lay in the black 08 car, and it's turned around once again. And boy, look at Nick Lay shaking his hands and fists inside the 08 car. He is not happy. The 26 of Rick Turner has had nothing but problem after problem all day long. You remember, he got hit by Stephen Nasse in the opening laps of the event. That sent him from the point all the way to the back of the pack, and now he's in the infield, and you can see the overflow from that radiator steaming like crazy. So he may have more problems than they're going to be able to find ways to fix. We're well into this race, but we're still nowhere near the 150 lap mark. That's going to be coming up here in just a few minutes, but right now, it looks that Rick Turner, it looks like he's going to go ahead and get out of the car, and I think our own pit reporter, Rob Klepper, is going to have a chance to catch up with him and see what's going on.
Well, Stephen, half of a smile for Rick Turner climbing out. Been a very eventful 93 laps for you guys in and out of the pits. The crew doing a great job to keep you on the lead lap, but just wasn't your night, my friend.
Well, I tell you what, we've had some terrible luck this year. I don't know what we need to do to change. We had a really fast race car, and I don't know if that first spin is what caused me to get hot, and we just couldn't get cooled down. Car was still fast. It don't look very good, but car was still fast, so it's running too hot, so I just brought it in.
Yeah, no surprise there, Rob. It really looked like he was just blowing out so much steam he wasn't going to make anything happen. And it's warm here, you know. I mean, we are up over 90 to 95 degrees throughout most of central Indiana right now, and that's really just cooking everybody and their equipment, especially under the stress of racing. Terry Fisher is out front in the 81 car right now. He runs a McGonigal engine, and Rob had a chance to talk with Dwayne McGonigal, the owner of McGonigal Engines.
Well, we've been building this equalizer type engine now for about 9 years. The cost of racing has just really escalated. So, we try to come up with something that was economical and dependable. And this type of engine, a Chevy and Ford version, has been very, very competitive. I mean, we've won virtually all over the country in every form of racing with this. So it's been a very successful thing. We're very proud of it. It costs $16,000 to $17,000, depending on if it's a Ford or GM. And it's a very economical. You can get up to $40,000 to $50,000 in some of the other type of engines. So it's been very successful.
Well, I've got a McGonigal engine in my own Super Cup car, and what I like about it is the fact that all you have to do is change oil and spark plugs and go racing again next time. So it's very, very convenient and user-friendly, and look at the damage on the 51 car of Becca Caston. She is fighting hard and hanging on to a top 5 position. Actually, she's in second place right now, but look at the huge gap between Becca and the 81 of Terry Fisher Jr., who's leading this race. Now, you see the white flag coming out. We reminded you early on that this race is literally broken in half. There's a mandatory pit stop that's coming up right now. There go the leaders, and Terry Fisher Jr. will bring everyone back to the infield. Now, here's what happens in the infield. You can work on the car, you can do whatever you need, you can change tires, there's full pit strategy here. The only thing is, you don't have to worry about beating the clock and trying to get back out in a big hurry. On the small, short tracks, this is a quarter-mile banked racetrack, you've got the time to really relax and breathe. The leader is out of the car right now and ready to talk with our own Rob Klepper.
At the halfway point, Terry Fisher Jr., 81 out front, man. Obviously the fastest car on the racetrack. I just heard you say we're changing right, so we going with just 2 tires?
Yeah, I believe we're going 2 tires right now. Right now we're having a miss. I mean, that's what happened at the end there. I started riding, had a lead, and then all of a sudden I started picking a miss off the corner, and I mean, I can't drive it the way it is right now. We're trying to get this thing going, so hopefully we get it fixed.
Well, he's got 15 minutes to work on it. That's the total amount of time for the halfway break. Some of the cars, as you can see, are already ready and starting to grid again. Terry Fisher is up front, and we're coming back to the Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300 for the second half of the show right after this. The Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300 is presented by Mitch Smith Auto Services and Great Deals Savings Magazine. Welcome back to Anderson, Indiana. As the sun is about to set, we are about to go back to green, and Terry Fisher Jr. in the 81 leads the field right now. Just on the outside of Terry is the 51. That car belongs to Becca Caston, and she's been fast all afternoon. Maybe not the fastest car out here, but she's had something for the leaders on a consistent basis. In third place is the number 2 of Kenny Tweedy, and Stephen Nassy in the 51 has fought his way all the way back through this field again, and the green flag will come back out. Terry Fisher goes into the lead, and the number 2 of Kenny Tweedy just pushes his way past Becca Caston, who's in second, and the 51 of Stephen Nassy is moving into third position right now, going wheel to wheel with Becca to try to make something happen. There comes Kenny Tweedy looking to the inside in second position. On the outside is the 81 of Terry Fisher. He gets bumped, and here comes Becca to try to take the lead. If you can just hang around long enough for something to come your way, you never know, you might have a good night. That's exactly what happened as Becca takes advantage of contact that was actually initiated by Kenny Tweedy in the 2 car. So Terry Fisher now back to second position. And sure enough, Stephen Nasse has tapped the 2-car of Kenny Tweedy once again, so Tweedy gets a taste of his own medicine. That brings out a yellow, and sure enough, Becca Caston remains up front, and now, guess who moves up to the number 2 position? That's the 23 car of Eddie Van Meter. Eddie has been quick all day long, but he's really not been able to crack the top 5. So the first time now we've seen Eddie Van Meter really come up and be a threat. He's going to be on the outside, Becca Caston on the inside. The 41 of Brent Jack is just behind them, and then you have the 26 car. That is Bubba Pollard, the red car on the outside of the second row. That is your restart. Here we go again. Eddie Van Meter just blasts out of the hole in turn 4 and will jump into the lead. Pollard is on the outside of the 51 of Becca Caston, trying to make a game of it for second place. There's a lot of contact between those two, because again, the low side is the preferred side here at Anderson Speedway, but Bubba Pollard is quick on the high side, and Eddie Van Meter has taken advantage of it. He's going off and taking a lead, but he's got a problem. Eddie Van Meter has got a problem, a big one. Bubba Pollard passes Becca, moves into first place. Eddie Van Meter stops his car on the infield, and now the 41 of Brent Jack is in second position. So now everything's changed all over again. Becca Caston all the way back to third position now, and the fight is up front. And there's more contact. Pollard is hit from behind by Brent Jack, and now more contact again. This is the 51 of Becca Caston. She gets into Brent Jack, who now takes it at both ends. Not only does he get hit from behind, he gets hit from the front as well. So that may be into his night. And look at the steam coming out of the radiator overflow, and you know what? There goes the window net. So that means Brent Jack is certainly out of this race right now, and Eddie Van Meter is out of the race as well. I want to catch up with Rob Klepper on pit road and find out exactly what happened.
Well, Stephen, Eddie Van Meter, you told me on the grid we have a good car. We got a shot to win this deal. What happened?
I think we lost transmission there. Real good car, especially up on the outside. I just got to thank these guys. They did a good job. All the sponsors, you know. We just had a part failure. Nothing we can do about it.
It's a tough break for Eddie Van Meter. It seems like tonight, Stephen, you may not want to lead this thing before we get to the end because the leaders are having issues.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. They're dropping like flies, but Bubba Pollard likes the outside in that 26 car. Ross Kenseth is to the inside, and the green flag will come back out, and Bubba Pollard will jump into the lead in the first turn. And you can tell by how high Ross Kenseth got in turn 2 just a moment ago that he is hustling that car quickly as we are running out of laps here in the Redbud 300. Kenseth looks to the inside. The low side is the favorable side here at Anderson Speedway. The white flag will be coming out in just a few minutes. We'll come back to the Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300 right after this.
I've worked for Stoops 16 years, and I love all the guys that work for me and with me. I try to keep it on a personal level every time. In our eyes, they're not just another car to work on. Stoops Automotive is a giving company more than just a selling company. Someone that gives back to the community really is someone that I would like to come back to.
The Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300 is presented by McGonigal Engine Performance and by Bochette Timepieces, high-grade, quality-made timepieces from Bochette. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway. This is the battle that we left you with. Bubba Pollard in the 26 car up front with a huge challenge and some contact from behind. That is Ross Kenseth in the 25 car. More contact, and he's trying to loosen him up, and that's kind of the dirty little secret in short track racing. It's not a nice thing to do, but it's very, very effective. You loosen them up from behind, and before you know it, they've got underneath him, and that's exactly what Ross Kenseth is trying to do. Now let's check in right now with Troy Smith, his crew chief on pit road.
We got in a wreck early on in the race with the 51 Becca Caston, and we bent right side strut rod, so thank God we had the halfway break, and you know, we got the farm and fleet machine tuned up as best as we can, and you know, I think we got it back to where it was before, and he's pretty confident, staying calm, so we're pretty happy where we are right now.
Not saying a whole lot over the radio?
No, he's being fairly quiet, but he is telling them where all the debris is out on the racetrack, so he's keeping a good eye out for that stuff right now.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So Ross Kenseth takes over the point. He's followed now by last year's winner, Steve Dorer, in second, and Johnny Van Dorn in third, both of whom have gotten past the 26 of Bubba Pollard, and I just think that the track has loosened up a little bit. Bubba's car has gone away, and he's going to try to fight to hang on for a top 5. But back up front, we have 1 lap to go for the guy that has taken over the lead in a commanding way now. Ross Kenseth is running along the backstretch. 2 more turns separate him from victory in the Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300. He's coming out of turn number 4, and Kenseth is your winner. He's going to drop that window net and wave to a very, very big crowd here at Anderson Speedway that's turned out for the annual Redbud 300. And boy, it was tough for the leaders up front. Becca Kasten had it, couldn't hang on. Eddie Van Meter had it and couldn't hang on. It just got tougher and tougher as the day went on. Representing farmandfleet.com, Ross Kenseth will make a victory lap in reverse in the 25 car. And unofficially, it looks like last year's winner, Steve Dorn, at number 10, finishes second. Johnny Van Dorn hangs on to third. And then it's Bubba Pollard and Becca Kasten who had to settle for 4th and 5th. But right now, let's head down to victory lane.
Ross Kenseth, 5th career win of the series, 1st career Redbud 300. Let him hear ya. Ross, I tell you what, man, what a great race. You guys were patient, got to the front, and once you did, man, kind of checked out. But how big is this for you and your whole team to win the Redbud 300, bud?
Man, it's awesome. There's really no one out here that works harder than Troy does, and we have had a long few months. This dumb stuff happening, and today we bent a strut arm in the first half there, and I got to fix it halfway, and it didn't really touch the car at all. And that thing was really fast at the end. I think this guy's a ton. You know, it's too bad Butch couldn't be here tonight, and I thank Blaine's Farm and Fleet, farmandfleet.com, Pathfinder Chassis. It was a great show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there he is, your Redbud 300 winner, Ross Kenseth.
Well, that's a sure way to write your name into the record books for a long time to come. And short track racing is by winning the Redbud 300. Let's check back with Rob and find out what Steve Dorer has to say in second place.
Well, you know, Stephen, at the halfway point, I was watching the 2-car of Kenny Tweedy, and right behind him, the 10 of Steve Dorer. Looked like the veterans were gonna pull off the big one here tonight. Caught the 25-car late in the race, but just not enough to get by.
Yeah, Ross did a great job. He had a better car than we did at the end. I was hoping for the restart to be able to beat him, but he just beat us. And he had the preferred lane on the restart, which is outside. Got a good run, but even still, he did a great job finishing the race. And I just didn't have the car for him. First last year, second this year, racing against 2 young kids that probably their ages combined don't total mine, I don't think. But hey, it's fun to still be out here doing it.
Coming home in the 3rd spot, your current points leader, and it's kind of a cliche, but you're going to pad that points lead. I know championship is what you guys are looking at. You also want to get the win as well, though.
Yeah, certainly. It was not a very good night as far as handling on the car, but just really proud of the crew for not giving up. And these long races, it's not about who has the fastest car. It's about being there at the end. And, they just never gave up. We came in the break and made some changes. Didn't really get any better, but just kept fighting, just really got to thank the sponsors, Jegs.com, Port City Race Cars, Montgomery Engines, Great Lakes Peterbilt, Magic Transportation. It's just really hard-fought 3rd place.
Well, Stephen, he told me back in the pits earlier today that you have to be patient at the Redbud 300. He was, and he comes home 3rd.
So patience pays off big time for Ross Kenseth as well in the number 25 car. Steve Dorer and Johnny Van Dorn in 2nd and 3rd. Bubba Pollard hangs on in 4th position, followed by Becca Kasten and Joe Beaver from the open wheel modified ranks just a few years ago. And there's a look at the rest of your top 10. Anderson Speedway is a barrel of fun. Come out here and take in a race. Better yet, come out here and drive one if you like. For Rob Klepper, I'm Stephen Cox. Thanks for joining us at the Redbud 300. We'll see you next time.